Pittsburgh. Chris, get us started today. Their season came to an end last night on Kawhi's dramatic buzzer beater for Philly, arguably one of the best starting fives in the league, but a starting five which only played 21 games together all season long, 10 in the regular season alone. They went all in to try and win this year, trading for Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris, and they came up short to the Toronto Raptors. Here's Joel Embiid after the loss.
I don't know, Game 7, losing the game that way, last shot, after a hard-fought game, I feel like we had a chance. A lot of things go through your mind, and it sucks.
Joel, you've been here for almost all of the process. Where would you say the process is right now? And you just played the most minutes you've ever played in regulation. Are you tired?
I don't give a damn about the process. And no, I'm not tired.
Wide awake to me there in that press conference. Nick, what changes do the Sixers need to make now going forward?
All right, so there's one structurally and then there's one organizationally. Structurally, they got to have a late-game offense. 3 biggest possessions of their year. Shot clock violation coming out of a timeout. The next play was damn near a shot clock violation, had to heave. And the play after that was damn near a shot clock violation and ended up being a steal. Like, your 3 biggest plays down the end of the... at the end of your season, Game 7, tie game or a 2-point game, and you don't get a single real shot at the basket.
But for people who've been watching Philadelphia, nothing has changed.
Right. Look just like last year against Boston.
And during the regular season, there were people who watched basketball complained about it. Me, because ain't nobody else going to say it. I complained about how they ran their offense, especially late in the games, because they don't have a point guard.
100% correct. And then organizationally, I think they have to offer Jimmy Butler the full max, or else he's gone. And if he's gone, unless we are going to bake in something I know you don't want to, Chris, enormous development for Ben Simmons, then they're going to be in this exact same position again next year where it's like, okay, we've got these great talents, but it's very tough for your center to run things at the end of games. You need a wing to do it, and we don't know if Ben Simmons is going to be able to be that guy.
I'm ready to do this, though, Nick. I want you to go through NBA history. I'm going to give you a little chance to do it. And you tell me a player that improved their jump shot from 3 feet to 15 feet. Show me that player, and when you show me that player in NBA history, a great player, I'm getting ready to appropriate my belief.
What about Jason Kidd and Giannis?
Yeah,
they weren't as limited as him after 3 years.
Nobody's been as limited as him. I mean, but Kidd did extend his to the 3-point line.
Okay, now, listen.
Well, hold on. Let's
so you say he's not going to get any semblance of a jumper?
Look at the numbers, man. Ben Simmons' average shot length, it compares to Shaq when Shaq was in his heyday. All right? In the playoffs, Shaq's average shot was 3.5 feet. Ben Simmons, in this playoff, not 1 game, not a half, in 2 series, his average shot is 2.5 feet. Longest shot he made in the playoffs was 11 feet.
No, look, there's 2 made. You watched that game yesterday, and I've been saying this all year. What did Greg Anthony, who was calling the game for TNT, keep saying from the 2nd quarter throughout to the 4th quarter?
Yeah, he was really good.
Joel Embiid, why doesn't Philly post him up?
Yeah.
Why is he? The reason they can't post Embiid up is because you got to put Ben Simmons on the block because that's the only place they'll guard him. Joel Embiid on the offensive end might as well have been 6'3" yesterday. Seriously. He was out there playing like a guard. Yep. He was the 2 guard.
His shot chart would say he was a guard.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a joke, and that's a problem. Now, I'm not ready to I hear you on Ben Simmons. And if I'm Philly, I'm giving him 1 chance, 1 more chance. This summer, dude, you got to get in the gym, and all I want you to do is shoot jumpers. Now, one thing I liked with Embiid, I love the fact that after the game he's crying. I loved his demeanor at the post-game press conference. Clearly distraught, clearly upset. I haven't seen, to be honest, to that point, how much he cares. That's the type of pain that could lead him to change his diet, that could lead him to work on his weight and come back, and I think his knee problems will lessen to a great degree if he works on his weight and his diet. And so I like that. I hear you, Nick. Butler is an issue because I agree with you, Chris. in that I would hate to max Butler and Tobias. I want them both back, and I want Redick back too. But it might take the max to get Butler.
There's too many teams with max contracts and not enough max players that if you try to go cheap, Butler is
He's not going to have,
gone.
it's not a great market for Butler. Like, teams are leery of Butler.
Okay, Brooklyn, New York, and the Los Angeles Lakers, at least one of them will offer him the max. Tobias might be a separate situation.
I'm going to tell you Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is going to be not the girl you're going to take to the prom,
but the girl
if you have some,
taking.
But if you have some complications, listen, you stay home.
Nah, right.
Like, he's going to come in Lakers, Knicks with KD, because those veteran players. Even though front offices might not be worn out.
And I thought he showed out well in this postseason.
Yeah.
Well, no, look, his play is not the question.
Oh, he's a pain in the...
And if he goes to L.A. with LeBron, I have no worries about him. If he goes to New York with KD, I don't worry about him. A young team like this, where have his problems been? Young teams where he's the man. And even though he's not the best player in Minnesota, he was the older,
Why wouldn't Philly offer him the max other than luxury tax? Other than just...
Because you're concerned about turning your franchise over to a guy that's had problems in the past, and now you give him the money. Look, Jimmy Butler was told a few months ago, the market is not going to be what you think it is for you. So you need to make good in Philly, because that might be your only place. And he did. He played tremendously. He's tight with Embiid.
Did you see him? He sat in the press conferences. He volunteered to sit in the press conference with Joel Embiid throughout the playoffs. And he was eyeballing them, making sure he said all the right things.
He's been the star for this.
And he's a great player. Like,
postseason.
I have no... And he gave him some late-game execution.
He was. When we were having trouble with Embiid being sick, when Ben Simmons didn't show up, who's the one guy that really stepped up for this team and kept him in a number of games was Jimmy Butler. But what happens to Brett Brown now?
Well, to Nick's point, when you look at your inability to execute at the end of games for the second straight postseason, Brett Brown's going to be gone. I think I would love to see, now, I think this guy's been blackballed, but I think Mark Jackson would be great. But I think you look at a Ty Lue, like there are coaches out there, even some like a Lionel Hollins, Mike Woodson, but they need a new coach.
Can I go off the board real quick? What about a guy that wouldn't even have to move? What about Jay Wright? Villanova.
Sorry.
I mean, you know what? I could live with that.
I mean, it'd be interesting if Jay Wright feels like it doesn't seem like he has any. I'm not. Listen, I'm not. It's not like I've heard anything. It's just it's local for him. There are other elements of it that I think would be intriguing.
The one thing that I think Coach is going to stay at Villanova where he's a legend. I think being local does help, and the fact if you got some special players, Jay Wright can develop players. Now, you got some special players in Joel Embiid and Ben and some leadership there as far as veterans. Now, it would take something like this to be able to get him to leave Villanova. But I like the name. I'm going to have to text Coach and tell him.
And
I'll text him first.
But this is, I just want people to remember last year against Boston in the second round, you alluded to it, but I just, to drill on it real quick, 3 games came down to the final possession, and Boston went 3-0. This year, your season comes down. Toronto did not play great. Toronto was ready to be beaten. Kawhi was sensational, but they were ready to be beaten. And you can't get a shot off. The only field goal they made in the final 3 minutes of the game was the Jimmy Butler layup in transition off of his free throw.
Which wasn't a play call.
Right, which wasn't. They got bailed out by 2 foul calls. One really weak foul call out on the perimeter with 55 seconds left where they called the foul where Butler went to the line, and then a foul on a block on Embiid. Like, you got to run an offense, man. You got to create good opportunities for your team in the biggest spots, and they didn't, and that's the type of thing that does get coaches fired.
We got to take a break. I got to make some calls. Broussard, stick around. Coming up, how were the Warriors able to take down the Houston Rockets without KD? Talk about that next. This is First Things First.
Jenna sometimes can get distracted. I've never seen that before. I mentioned Jay Wright. Yeah. She started talking
up from there and take it. Talking Sixers with Chris Broussard. Chris, get us started today. Their season came to an end last night on Kawhi's dramatic buzzer beater for Philly, arguably one of the best starting 5s in the league, but a starting 5 which only played 21 games together all season long, 10 in the regular season alone. They went all in to try and win this year, trading for Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris, and they came up short to the Toronto Raptors. Here's Joel Embiid after the loss.
I don't know, Game 7, losing the game that way, you know, last shot after a hard